And we are
Partying.
partying. I'm gonna call ourselves to order here in just
If
a second.
anybody's virtualing in
Oh, no, that's not
by
one.
video,
There's no one.
eat your heart out, baby.
Chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, taste this on Google.
Hey, Leon, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Leon, welcome.
Hi, Leon.
Hi.
Well, with the 45-degree temperatures, you might be wearing your shorts tonight.
I did have shorts on.
You're the man. You're the
I'm the
man.
man.
That is dynamite. How you feeling?
Yeah, pretty good. I just had carpal tunnel surgery,
Oh, right.
On
No
my
kidding.
head. so I'm taking it easy, kicking back.
Wow. Yeah. No mouse action for you.
Yeah.
Yikes. How long has this been going on?
Oh, I've been trying to get surgery done for a couple of years now.
Shoot.
Finally, the timing was right.
Yeah. Totally great. Kill this. Yeah. And that should, and we're on.
Yeah, better. Bad luck, buddy.
That's right. Okay. Is anybody else in the, oh my God, no.
Nobody else in the attending, so.
All right.
Lisa, no.
I heard from Ed, and he will not be able to be here tonight. And I guess that rounds out the usual, gang online. So, again, happy birthday, Jerry Cavallo,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
50?
newest member. First birthday in 27 years here. I'll have to do this more often. We can come to order. I will, if I can share. Oh, here it comes again. Sharing. Yeah. And here we go. Our agenda tonight, we're approving minutes. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to look over the minutes.
Yes,
I have just a couple of tiny little bits that I was made aware of. I think under the list of attendees, Ed Collins was online. And let's wait. Minor stuff.
Well, I mean that I don't list that he's online.
Yeah, right. We had Leon is online.
Mm-hmm.
But we wanted to add that, and then
Lisa was online too, I think, or she was
Is that
here,
last
she was in
one?
the room. Wasn't she? I remember her sitting over there, because the guy was giving the report. Lisa was here.
That was
No, the guy was giving the report.
that was the month before.
that was
Oh, that was
no,
2 months ago, okay.
yeah,
Disregard
okay.
me then.
All right.
I was here for the guy
Right,
giving the
right.
report.
Right, swap. Okay.
That's why.
Yeah.
I just had a coughing fit. I was just coughed every 5 seconds
Yeah.
in December.
Oh, and then interactive projects, Lake Manawanaki. That first sentence, the annual winter drawdown is underway to control invasive plant growth. The lake level
Down the
is
lowest I've ever seen that.
lower than recent years, and the current and forecast. I just current something.
Current and forecast cold weather.
You intended that.
Yeah.
That's fine. And for Long Lake, it's actually Solmery, SOL instead of SAM. And that's it.
Can we approve as amended, or do we have to wait till they get reissued?
I think we can approve them as amended. If you'd like to make that
Make a
motion,
motion to approve
Chuck's way out front.
amended.
Tammy's the second.
Boom.
Any opposed? All in favor, say aye.
Bye.
Lisa,
Aye.
gotcha.
We gotcha.
That's complete.
Unanimous.
Okay. So we are, looking at the, FY 27 budget. Mark Rombacher is busy all this month, with finance meetings, and so was unable to attend tonight. He wrote me last Friday explaining he won't be able to meet the meeting, or make the meeting. I says, I will try to send a budget update next week. I think we are set for funding for lake plans and invasives for Long and Forge Lake. I believe the invasive RFP is, working through the process with the goal of publishing in February, but not positive on the date. Trying to get more information on the Patriot settlement, but haven't had any luck so far. If there's anything else you want prior to the meeting, please let me know about that. So, were you able to talk to Mark?
Yeah,
Dave?
we talked, this afternoon.
Maybe you could carry on from there.
Yeah, he said that, it's very, very helpful with the budget. What they're proposing this year is, effectively $150,000 from the town aside from the water department.
Mhm. That's great.
Well, it breaks down, and so it's 10,000 in a line item under the, proposed by the select board. And last year that was under the DPW. This year it'll be under the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
The Conservation Commission has a larger budget than that with line items, and it'd be $10,000 line item under Conservation for Clean Lakes Committee. The rest of it would be sought from CPC, and they're as it stands now, it would be 75,000 from CPC, split evenly between Forge Pond and Long Lake for treatments,
Wow.
plant treatments.
Now, this is fiscal year 2027.
Right.
Yeah.
And it specifies plant treatments, it's not AIM, more general.
So, he wasn't sure. I reminded him that we had a meeting last summer with, CPC where they, recommended, where we talked about the fact that Long Lake's previous allocation was very specific about what it was good for, and that prevented us from being able to reallocate for something like herbicides. And the suggestion was that we be specific about the issue that's being dealt with, but a little more generic about how it's
Gonna happen.
how it's being treated, right? So he didn't know what he said that the CPC requests are going to be submitted by either Conservation Commission or the Water Department. He wasn't sure which. They're going to sort that out. So he said he would pass on that this thing we just talked about, being generic enough to be flexible. And then there was going to be another request for 64,000 for the lake preservation plans for Long Lake and Forge Pond, 32 and 32, which is a bit more than was in the budget the draft that he gave us in November, which was, I think, 29.5 at that point. And, he didn't know, he did talk to him about the issues that we brought up last time, but he's gonna mention again that, it would be important to include an assessment of the watershed for each lake, and particularly an issue for Porch Pond because the watershed's 70 times the size of the lake. And also the question about whether there's enough budget in there to have, once the data is all collected, an evaluation, assessment of what the data tells them, and to identify the proposed options for action based on that, not just collect the data and report it. So he was gonna go back and remind about that.
And so you said that another 64 is split 32 and 32, but what's the source of that 64?
CPC,
So two different CPC requests. Right?
yeah, one for 75.
Okay.
And one for 64.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like 140 there, and then 150 with the 10K under conservation. That's 150 in addition to what the water department would be proposing.
For spec pond stuff.
Yeah, yeah. He said that he also pointed out that there's expectation is that CPC would be helping to fund us during the transition from when the water department mainly funded us, and when there's a long-term sustainable funding, and the current thought is that Clean Lakes may end up getting included subsequently as capital in the capital budget. And the distinction there, I guess, is that operational budgets sort of flow on from year to year. And the current thinking, I guess, is that they would like it, they're thinking of it now as addressing it each year as what's needed. And
Yeah, it becomes very frustrating for us.
but that's not a definite, it's kind of a discussion point at the moment. Yeah, there were a couple of other budget things that I mentioned to him, which about Porch Pond. So we went back to Littleton CPC to ask if we could again use 20,000 of the 80,000 that they had allocated for eco harvesting for herbicide treatment in 2026, because we're again not going to be able to do eco harvesting because the dredging permit won't be available, and that was agreed to by the CPC committee. And then we presented a request for 20,000 for the H&H engineering study, which is looking at doing computer modeling of possible changes at the outlet for the drawdown, which we had in the FY25 budget from the water department, which ended up not getting spent. So we requested 20,000 for that, and that was approved. So that's good. That would need to be also approved at town meeting in the spring. And then, we also, went to, Westford CPC. And last week we submitted, this is Friends of Forge Pond was, facilitating this. We submitted applications for Westford CPC for the same two things, 20,000 for, the H&H study for the drawdown, improvements, and 20,000, request for 20,000 for herbicide treatment for this, for 2026. Well, we would intend to use it for 2026 for the Westford side of the lake. So we presented the intention of submitting those at their needs meeting in December, and they said, go ahead and submit it. So we've submitted the applications, and they will be having interviews and deciding in January and February.
They don't discuss that one after you present. They call you back in, is that?
They don't really, you know, in Littleton, you submit a entitlement application request, and they tell you whether you're entitled to the funds or not for that kind of project. And Westford doesn't give any feedback for the needs. It's just input for them, so they know kind of what's coming in. So we submitted the applications last week, and they will, in the next week or so, let us know when to come in to discuss it with them. They'll have 2 or 3 meetings where they'll be discussing. There's like a dozen groups that are requesting funds, and then they'll have a meeting in February where they decide what they're going to approve, and then that would have to be approved by town meeting too. Yeah.
That's fine. You got no reaction from them at all then, in terms of how that,
No, I asked them, I asked if they, you know, had any feedback or, you know, explained what we'd seen in Littleton. They said, we're just, you know,
that's their approach.
yeah, right. So, so we'll find out in February. I mean, I would think we'd have a high probability of getting the funding for the H&H study.
Mhm.
I think it's 50-50 as to whether we get funding for the herbicides. They already indicated when I was emailing them in October and in the fall about, you know, the process, that, you know, they stopped funding Westford Health Lakes and Ponds Collaborative after about 8 years, because they felt like at that point it was becoming maintenance, and they're adverse to that. So we have discussion points, you know, to explain why it would make sense for them to fund it, but we'll see.
It's a awkward spot for them. They've declared that using herbicides is maintenance for these other lakes.
But they do it every year. Where are they getting the money? Where's now?
And after doing it for whatever number of years they've been doing it, they said, oh, we're tired of this. This is maintenance. So having declared that, now if we ask, can we do herbicides?
Right.
They're kind of in a spot. If they don't say, well, that's maintenance.
Well, yeah, on the other hand, the reason that they were funding it originally for those half a dozen or 8 years was because they were treating it as pilot projects to see how well it worked for those lakes.
Right.
And
So
so for Forge Pond, we haven't done it in 40 years. So
was there a phone ringing just now?
No, we've done it. It's the state that used to do it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. But
Did a phone ring just now?
No, I didn't hear that.
No.
we didn't hear it.
I shut off.
No, I'm trying to figure, I mean, I'm wearing a bunch of electronics that sometimes do things like,
Right, we didn't hear anything.
there was no phone ringing.
No.
Wow.
Okay, no.
I guess your phone ringing.
That was a really loud phone ringing.
Wow.
And made a noise that my phone doesn't make.
I shut mine off.
Yeah, me too. Maybe Verizon is back on.
Yeah.
What, was Verizon off this afternoon?
Yeah.
I wondered about
Most
that.
of the day.
Not for everybody.
Oh,
right? I didn't know that.
It was good for me, but,
Yeah, well, I
Okay.
was selected,
but
I
I was
guess,
trying to call.
Anyway, sorry for interrupting.
You and me paying the bill.
No, no, fine, no, that's fine, but, yeah,
yeah,
that's good, that's,
yeah.
I would just hope for the best.
So, to answer your question, I mean, Chuck was asking, how do they pay for it? NAB, NASIT, and, Long Sought For both, solicit from the,
Different things.
Residents,
residents.
Oh.
Yeah. That's the budget, stuff that, we talked about. So that's a bit different than the, draft that he gave us in November, but, it's pretty similar.
yeah, and I've been hesitant to update our numbers because, well, we won't know until things are finalized, so,
One other, yeah,
Yeah.
in terms of the process.
yeah.
So we thought there was like one night when they had a, FinCom and select board, and, but apparently it's every Wednesday through the month. I asked him, when would Clean Lakes be likely to be discussed? He said it would come, CPC would have, some presentation, and, I think, Conservation Commission would have a presentation, right? Assuming, yeah, assuming that the CPC request gets submitted in time for the, budget meeting with, their meetings ago. So the CPC would probably be later to give them time to get the applications in. So he said he'd let us know when those two groups are, gonna be presenting. They come committee by committee. And then, there's, Saturday, February 7th, there's a final meeting where they have the big, the school committee, and I mean, and then they make their decision that day too. But ours probably wouldn't be part of that. So he'd let us know. He said our discussion would probably be 10 minutes out of, if that, right?
Yeah.
But, if some of us would like to attend, he'll let us know when those will be.
Good, that's great.
So that's very, very helpful for him to, take the lead on that and work with
Oh,
the,
without a doubt,
get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the people that need to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. It's, that's great. I think I'm anxious to get to the point where we can sort of put the FY 27 budget to rest for a little while. Speaking about budgets though, I just got word from, the water department. They've got another bill, on the dredging permit today. And it will take the rest of their commitment, like 1/3, pretty much, that they put forward, and then the rest of it's on the town monies that were allocated last year.
Is that bill from TRC?
Yes, yeah. So, I haven't looked at the email yet to look at the invoice and see what it's all for, but it's just an increment, and looking forward to the spring sampling and so on, lab tests and what have you, and then submitting the application to complete things. So hopefully, it's a spring gig, and by the end of the fall, we'll have positive results. Really hoping for that, but that's great. So, lake and pond updates. I know there's been some stirring regarding milk fund, and I think I missed a casual meeting. So we want to jump on that. We got the notification that the town has received funding for research on removing the dam. It's non-committal, but it's through the water department, and I understand Tim was the one who made the application.
Yeah, Tim Pearson, he's now with the Conscom.
Yeah.
But he did a stint with the water department for a summer, but had been putting in every year before that.
Oh,
And The one he did just worked. It just happened to be our time. Yeah, so we got together a dirigible, so there's nothing really intelligible that can come out of that meeting.
Sorry, I missed that.
No notes were taken. No notes were taken. We were just rounding up.
They got one.
But if I could just talk about the damn thing a little bit, this is why I think we need to get engaged in it. I think we have the continuity over the folks that were working. So Tim is now, he put in the request. So just the request, if we talked about it last time, was I think it was like $300,000 for 6 towns to do a study on dam removal.
Mhm.
And so many good reasons why they put for dam removal. And the one I thought was interesting was to improve the cold water fishery below the dam, because the water that comes off the dam is a big surface water. It's a lot of heat from the sun. And the area below Mill Pond Dam is actually a pretty decent trout fishery. It's the only one I know of in Littleton, because it's a babbling brook. And so
By Parley, is that?
yeah, Parley is.
Or right underneath, or is it, underneath the, bridge or?
Actually, the best is once you get around Parley, where it first comes off the dam and goes under, it's just a big flat trench. But once it gets over to where Parley is, it's a freestone brook. And I actually did a brief to the Constom. I was trying to get their support for getting a public walkway along Parley when I actually briefed the Power and Light Commission as well, because they're putting in a battery storage plant where Parley was. And while they're doing that, I thought, being that Parley screwed up the whole bank along that side, it's all got concrete and stuff buried.
Yeah.
And the other side is Mill Pond.
Yeah.
And actually the the other side is Mill Hill Recreation, Conservation Area that belongs to Conscom. But the border actually comes over to Parley. So Parley was actually dumping things on the town property there. But anyway, but now that it's going to be all revived, I thought, wouldn't it be nice to put a pathway in there and clear out a lot of the invasives so people could actually fish the brook? And I talked to the fisheries department, and they said they did a study there, I think 2 years ago, to see if there were any holdover trout, because they stock it further down Beaver Brook, and they're doing less and less because Beaver Brook is getting less and less trouty. And they said they did a study up by Parley, and that's the only place where there's holdover trout in Beaver Brook. And they put the fish in up. They used to put them in up by Taylor Street, and they're not doing that anymore. So anyway, the trout actually hold there. It's beautiful. It's covered with trees, and it's all rocky, and it looks just like a trout stream.
Huh.
But the detriment is the water coming off of Mill Pond is really warm. So it's just borderline as far as the temperature of the trout need. So what I thought we would do would be put a place to people could fish it, and then improve some of the habitat. But it won't do any good unless we slow down the hot water coming off the lake. So that's also why I joined CLC to try to prove that. But let me just talk about why I think we should engage on this study that was granted for us. We have a very unique situation in that everybody else wants to tear the dam down. We already had a study by the Corps of Engineers, which town spent a lot of money on. And they, right in the beginning, the premise was, they stated, I got it right here, dam removal not supported by dam owner, Mass DOT, due to the purpose of the dam to provide I-95 stability and flood damage. So the whole study was based upon you can't take the dam down, therefore we have to do dredging in one area and move to another area. And I think it came out like there's $26 million to do that. And there's no, that's never going to get done in this town, especially this year when we can't even get herbicides. So they didn't like it.
We were in the single digits, thankfully, but yeah, might as well have been 26 million.
Okay. It was a lot of, well, so, when the study came in that we actually got a grant for, they list a lot of things that we already did. And what I would like this study to actually do is relook at the dam and see if there could be modifications to the dam, structurally leave it in place, but actually let the water flow through it somehow. That's what we were talking about in dirigible, cutting the V in it or something. So I just want to go through with you. This will take me like 5 minutes. What the focus is of this study that they're going to do. And although the water department put in for it, the water department really doesn't play in doing the study. The state is gonna issue the contract to an engineering company. The engineering company is gonna do a set of things to all 6 towns that got the grant. And I think we need to engage through the water department. Mike Rega is now the guy in charge, and get to the state and say, hey, there are some things we can give you the study from the Corps of Engineers. Don't redo that. Put more focus on what are we going to do to the dam? Can we modify the dam in some way so that the state is still happy that it's structurally there, but it lets water flow through? So the things that this study is going to do is a topographic and bathymetric survey. And so I did fortunately, the Corps of Engineers is that study is very long, but you can do a find for words in there.
Mhm.
And so I did a find for a bathymetric survey, and I went down, they already did it, all the results are in the old report. Sediment quality testing for potential contaminants. I don't know if you guys remember that at
They've
the
got all
time.
of that.
They did it, and then they said there were contaminants there, and then they came back, and when the final report, they said, no, that was a mistake, there are no contaminants. So that's already been done. Assessment of sediment quantity in the impoundment, that was done. Hydrologic and hydraulic modeling, that was done in enclosure 10. Preliminary design and technical support summarizing results of the study, that was very well done. And so the last thing is what hasn't been done yet. It's an estimate cost for necessary future design and permitting for dam removal. So what I think we need to do is go through the water department, get a hold of the guy who is issuing the contract for the engineering company, and make sure there's room in there for them, if they have a certain amount of effort for each town, focus our effort on the dam, and they don't have to redo the other 6 things because the Corps of Engineers already did them. And we make sure we give the report for the Corps of Engineers to the engineers who are going to do the report, so we don't get back the same thing that we already got and we're still nowhere again.
Do we need to be prepared to rebut somebody's objection that the stuff that was done a while ago and is out of date?
Well, things like the depth, bathymetric, I think is the depth of the water.
Yeah.
There's going to be a little bit more sediment over the last 20 years, but it's, we're talking a lot more time to actually significantly change what the bottom looks like. So people may, but I think, I think it would be the engineering company that gets this contract could look at it and they could say, yeah, those sort of things don't change, over a decade or two. But,
Well, the depth might, I mean, it was several decades that it took to change the mill pond from 12 feet deep to several feet deep.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Before, and so.
yeah,
It,
well, we can give them the report. And
but I
they
mean,
can make that
but I
determination.
mean, a bathymetric, sounding is pretty cheap.
Yeah, that's not a huge effort.
Yeah.
It is, but then, okay, is it really that significant for what we want to do if it's
Well, I think
5 feet of sediment or 5.5 feet of sediment?
Yeah, no, I think big picture, sounds like the state's gonna do this on their own, but I
Yes.
have no objections to saying, make sure that we,
We heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
make sure that they're aware that all these studies have been
Yes.
done by the US Army Corps of Engineers.
They
Take
provided
advantage,
to them.
take advantage of that
Yeah.
and by all means, move on, because, they did not explore the opportunity or the possibility of dismantling the dam.
They just
That
accepted.
opens up another whole
Mhm.
area, of course, with the neighborhood, wondering if they actually want to see the dam removed, but, that's a.
Well, those are,
discussion down the line.
I have 2 questions. One is like, what would you think potentially that would do to the neighborhood, and the lake, right? Like just have water going through it. Just curious about that. And then the second question is, what was it the reason the Corps of Engineer, that whole project got kiboshed or, shut down was because the state said, the state said, oh, well, the only thing we're gonna support is dam removal at this point,
Precisely.
right? Okay.
Kill the whole project.
So then I'm just curious about the origins of this with 6 towns and this, like Tim went ahead, like is it?
Well, Corey Godfrey is really he's gone now. He used to
Yeah,
be there.
yeah,
He
yeah.
was the one that initiated it, and the water department just kept following it on. But
Did he initiate it concurrent to when the whole Army Corps of Engineers thing was going down, or when it got shut down and they said, oh, the only thing we can do is remove a dam? Cause I don't remember ever hearing that
Yeah.
get talked
I
about.
don't
well,
think-
remember the study?
Never got the grant, then,
Yeah.
There was, when the study started, it was going pretty good, like in 2012, 13, 14, and then it was still going on. They never closed it out until 2021, I think.
Yeah.
22.
That
And
was,
but not much was done in the last couple of years. They just said, hey, who's working this project? Well, nobody is. Well, let's just close it out.
Yeah.
It was suspended for,
and that,
numerous.
For like a couple of
Reasons,
decades, they said, no, really.
No, it bounced around. I mean, it's gone through everything that happened to the federal government happened to this project.
Okay.
There were a bunch of guys that just packed their bags and went over to Afghanistan for a few years. There were funding issues, at the federal level, and, one thing or another said, this just got pushed to the back row. This got pushed back again. It's, they kept talking loud and proud, but at the end of the day, it's the administration of the state officials that, all the people who had something to say about it said, this is a no-go.
yeah.
Because you can't
You take a dam down, we'd be talking to you.
Right. So that's the problem. The whole study was done on the premise that you can't take a dam down.
Right.
Well,
And it might be absolutely true,
The
but
whole
you
thing
can
was done on the
modify
premise that we
it.
didn't want to take the dam down.
We didn't want to take it down.
We did not want to take the dam.
Why is that?
We wanted to maintain the lake.
Oh, well,
Sure.
that's.
Yeah.
Crazy,
So,
I know.
I didn't realize that people around there, because
Well, it was
This
just
is-
an option that we could maintain the lake, and now it doesn't seem like that's really a viable option, because
No,
the
it's-
dredging and the.
yeah, and it doesn't, I don't know, I don't live on the lake, but it's pretty messy. And the other unique thing about it is that underneath that water is owned by the town. So the neighbors live around that lake, but the town has a big say in what happens because the land under the lake belongs to the town. That's how I got a member of the Mill Pond, because I'm.
Also, there's a substantial number of acres there that belong to the homeowners.
Not as much.
There
as
are
you
people,
think.
there are people who have land underwater, which is the only way that they were able to, have enough square footage, of real estate to actually build there.
So right by the dam is a couple of them. The
Yeah.
rest of it, like 90% of the land is either a conservation trust or the town.
Mhm.
In Basin 1, at least. Basin 2, I'm not so sure. That's the next one up.
Yeah.
Beyond. And my other concern about it is the railroad. The railroad has a bridge over it. And sometimes if you suck the water out, that might do something to the bridge. It might settle or something. So that's something else we have to look at. Is if we took
I'm
the-
sure that could be dealt with.
So are you for taking the bridge out, the dam out? Are you asking to take the dam out? Is that what you're asking?
I'm asking to turn it back into a stream.
Okay, so.
Now, it's not gonna be a stream, it's gonna be several small ponds. That's the way it always was.
So what I think though, is we're doing it right now, it's in summer. We don't even have our windows open. I've been skating out there a couple weeks now. And right next to me is swamp. Man, it smells. So if you're gonna start to say, okay, let's take this down, you gotta get that muck out of there.
Well, okay, we'll see what the study
Well, I'm
says
just-
about
I'm
that.
just saying,
Can't move anything. I don't think Conscom would like you digging up a swamp.
I'm just saying. You know,
You're saying once the water gets removed, so this is the, like, what happens if you put a V in the dam and the water starts to flow through? So you're saying it's just what you're gonna be left with is a really mucky backyard.
Exposed for the first time,
Right.
it's been underwater for.
Right.
Since,
Yep.
yeah,
Right,
and
that thing
that
has
was,
been there
that was
since the
discussed.
1700s, right?
Well, not that dam.
But a dam has been
That
there,
dam's
yeah.
been there since, what, the sixties maybe, or something like that?
But prior to 1900, it was drained every year.
It was.
It was drained in the summer and they farmed on it. And in the winter it was dammed up and they cut ice from it. So that stopped when the Lake Warren development started. And they advertised it as a wonderful swimming. And
not freezing and.
And it was. We've met people who swam there, and we weren't trying to restore it to that point.
We were?
No.
How did it get drained every summer? Did they just open a sluice and let the water out?
Never.
Like a-
it was a wooden dam. It was owned by
Something like that, but.
first it was a guy who did a grain mill there. And then when we had the big flow one year when a lot of trees went down in the 1800s, then they turned it into a lumber mill. So it switched between a lumber mill and a grain mill. And it was actually on the Parlee side. It was not because 495 wasn't there. 495 moved the dam
With the water.
on the other side.
So-
That's when it was rebuilt in the 60s.
And then that's when it was never went up and down.
So the purpose of the dam was to power the mills. It was
Yes.
not to create a beautiful lakeside
That's not a
community
Detroit.
in the town of Littleton.
That happened after.
Yeah, okay.
A couple of developers got involved.
Right,
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole mill,
No,
yeah, okay.
Oh, as
Yeah, that's an
towards,
interesting history.
Your daughters.
So I wonder if Chucky's Point isn't
Right, Lake Warren, yeah, I've seen pictures
Yeah,
of
we
Lake
have-
Warren.
we have this
Your,
Nelly Mucky thing because we do a drawdown.
Mine?
Water
Well,
down,
like
water
the
it
Mill,
down.
if you go up to Mill Hill, all of the.
If you open that
there,
in,
and
you gotta
everybody
break it down,
goes
you get
up to
everybody.
you, and I'm there, like,
Experience
there's a
day.
bed, if you want.
So, to wrap up.
All right, let's get back on.
So let's get back to the smelly thing, because like, that's important, because
Oh, it's,
This much or more, right?
up to 3 feet is what.
And
the
it's all
study
gonna
said.
decompose for a long time. And, you know, what are we gonna do with that?
Isn't that gonna create kind of a flare up in public opinion of people who live around them? What's gonna become a smelly, mucky mess?
well,
Isn't it already smelly and mucky though?
I think our first move would be to assess what the neighbors would like to see done.
Well, I think that's gonna take a long time. I think.
Everything's
for
gonna
this-
take a long
Well,
time.
no,
This
this
study is
study,
going to be completed long
Pretty-
before any decisions are made.
right, so I think we need to have this study focused on if we can modify the dam, because I think it's a fait accompli, we are not going to remove the dam, we can't. Because it's part of 495, but is there a way to modify
We
the dam?
don't, we
that can
don't, we
lower it?
don't know any details beyond that.
So once, if by the study, they come back and say, hey, you can cut a V in the dam as long as you don't go all the way down to the base, or you can open the sluice gate or something, then we start saying to the folks, okay, we can lower the dam by X number of feet. Here's it's gonna look like. You're gonna have about 3 years of smell. Would you prefer that, or would you prefer just the way it is now and just let it go? I just wanna create an option, that because right now there is no option. It's just the way it is. We're gifted this grant. I want to focus the grant on what modifications can be made to the dam that everybody would agree on. And then we don't have to do anything.
And you say Michael is heading this up through the water department at this point? It's a,
Yes, he is, but he's got a lot of other work to do.
oh, sure.
So I would like us, because I think we have the continuity of the history. Michael's been here a year, right?
Mhm.
And then Corey had all the, so I think we need to engage with Michael to help him out to make sure that the state gets this information of the Corps of Engineers studies, so we don't have them doing the same thing over again.
Right.
And we focus on what can be done to modify the dam.
Yeah.
We're not committing to modifying the dam,
Oh, no,
but there's no sense in getting
But that's-
everybody around the lake worried if we
That's the
can't do it.
objective of the study, to
Yes.
see if it can be done.
And then we go to the folks around the lake and say, we can lower the dam and we can turn it into a stream. And this is what it's gonna look like. We can actually have a diagram based upon how low the dam's gonna be as to what the bottom of the lake looks like now, and then we can do a model of, it's gonna look like this. And there's gonna be some problems with it, because everything's gotta decompose. And then if you look at the Corps of Engineers studies, some of the invasives are gonna come in and take over that muddy area. And, you know, we may have to do something to prevent that. But I don't think we wanna take on all that at once. I think we
You
just wanna focus on what can we modify the dam, and then once we can, whether we actually are going to do it, we can take as phase 2.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
And so the dam is before 495, but you can't just remove the dam because you'd have a bigger stream that wouldn't
We don't know what the
fit under
implications
there.
are.
Well,
No,
just
it's
you're saying
structural.
you can't remove the dam. Is it tied to the
It's
structure
part
of
of 495.
It actually is.
And 495, they claim, will settle if you take that dam out, because that's actually supporting the structure
okay.
of 495.
Well, we don't want that to happen.
And I'm saying this because I'm repeating what was in the study.
Yeah.
That seems a little far-fetched to me, but I'm trying
That
to
was
believe.
in the core study.
But they got it from the DOT, and I
Yeah,
have it
yeah,
written
yeah.
right here, I mean, I just read it. Due to the dam to provide I-95 stability and flood damage reduction. I don't really get the flood damage reduction, because if you look at the size of the holes under 495, they're tremendous.
Mhm.
So it's not a metering factor for the water, as far as I can tell, it's huge.
After you've let water through the dam, or if you've removed the dam, things settle down after you empty the basin substantially. And, you know, there's no additional flow at all. That's just the
So
flow.
there'll be a little flow.
So, no, all I'm saying is there's a constant flow there now.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's not gonna be any different.
So the advantage that you're seeing, I mean, there'll be the same flow going through there
Mhm.
at that point as there is now. but it wouldn't spend time in the pond, so it wouldn't warm up
Reduce surface area, those not.
to the temperature that it does
Yeah.
now before it goes down to continues on as Beaverbrook.
Right, and that's just not my thoughts, that's logical to me, but in the study, they talk about that's one of the benefits of doing it, is reduced surface area, the water remains a little cooler as it comes through and
Which study?
enhances. Well, it was the study that we just got the grant for, I'm sorry, we wouldn't call it a study. They have some background to the grant, which was in what John sent out to all of us. And they say one of the reasons to remove a dam is to get the water flow to be cooler. And it's cooler because it's not sitting out in the sun stagnant for so long.
Not standing water.
Not standing water.
Moving water.
It's moving water and it's, right now it's spread over this distance and you got this much sun coming down. Now it's the same amount of water flowing, but it's a very narrow part and it stays cooler that way.
If it's shallow.
Yeah,
I mean, if it's a deep lake, you've got temperatures at the bottom that are colder
Right, but
than the stream coming in.
That's
but it comes off the top.
That's not the case here, no.
Right.
Yeah.
The other basins are almost dry as it is. I mean, there's water in them, but I wouldn't call it ponds at all.
And also this dam is an overflow dam, so the water comes off the top of the lake and comes down to cold water. If there's always any, it would stay in the lake.
Right.
So it's
So I'm excited that the study's happening and I don't know when it's getting underway. I would imagine this spring.
well, that's why I think we gotta move on this pretty quickly, to get, and what I'm asking the board is, let me work with Mike to get this information from the Corps of Engineers to, it's actually the dam department of Massachusetts is a group that works on dam, to get into the guy.
Department of Environmental
The dam
Reclamation.
department.
The dam department.
The Department of
I
Environmental.
think get that all the time.
Department, whoever it is, the guy who's
DER.
writing the contract, make sure he's aware of this and he can write into the contract that this is gonna be provided to the contractors. And that hopefully for us, they will focus more on the dam modification and removal and not spend the money on redoing what was already
No,
done.
I would imagine that's the first thing they're gonna do is wherever they're looking at these 6 different sites.
Well, that's it,
Find
that's what
out,
they wrote.
find out what's happened.
Everybody's gonna do these 6 things and we don't want them to do that again.
Well-
Because they already did it.
All I'm saying is all they have to do is, first off, they do a little research everywhere they go. Rather than starting from zero. And yeah, there's no sense in repeating what's already been done.
So if it's okay with everybody, I would like to get with Mike. Because I know it's tough to get these guys who are working all day to come to our meetings, and I would like to go, we're gonna retire now. I can go meet him at the water department during the day and bring the study to him. The last time I was with him, I asked if he had read the Corps of Engineers study, and he said yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanna make sure we provide that to the Department of Environmental Protection.
Department of Environmental.
Specifically, the guy who's writing the
The
contract.
damn guy.
The dam guy. You gotta get the dam guy so he can work it into the contract. So that we don't have redundant work being done and we specifically focus on the ability to modify the dam. And then we'll see what comes out of the study.
Yeah.
But at least we made an effort to try to not waste the state's money on something that was already done.
No, and there's no sense in doing that, because if all they've done is just repeat what's already been established.
And I believe that's unique to us.
Total waste of tax dollars.
I don't know if any of the other towns ever had the Corps of Engineers, working for 2 decades on the same thing.
Do they have a partner agency or branch that supports the actual doing of the dam removal?
There's a
Like,
grant for that too.
so,
but
and
not this
then
one.
are there public servants who could come to our meeting, for instance, and describe how, because I think it is treacherous ground. The grant sounds great, and I totally am in favor of doing what you say, Jerry. It's the next steps that I think it would be good to have the Clean Lakes Committee support for, to have because there's no Mill Pond Association anymore, and I think we'd be the kinds of people who could take a first look at the rationale and prepare materials for public eyes, because people will have questions.
Well, there have been several dam removals in Massachusetts. And there are people that have done this first, and then they got a grant to actually remove the dam. So that's the progression. The go through.
There've been dozens of studies like this that have been
Yeah.
funded by the state.
Yeah.
Um,
But not, from what John sent out to us, if you look at, there was like 3 or 4 examples of ones they actually took down. So I don't know how we get to achieve that, but I think the first step is what we discussed.
I think they have to assess whether or not the dam can be altered or removed or
Right.
whatever.
Well, in all other cases, it was removed.
Well, yeah, but all I'm saying is if it's part of the highway department.
Yeah, they don't have
We don't have that
495
option.
going over that.
Yeah, so, okay.
So I'd be in favor of you having these
Yeah.
conversations. Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
And I would expect if this starts to happen, Mill Pond Association will roar back to life and people are gonna be either yay or nay.
All you need to do is dangle a large issue in front of a.
Yeah. Literally,
I don't
you
think
want
they-
people who wanna be
well-
part of the Mill Pond
I
Association.
don't think it needs to.
What would be your
I think this
assessment?
is-
What would be your assessment? You've lived there for years. If the ponds were to.
I can picture it, and it's not necessarily as you present it, like, it depends on what happens during the summer months. I mean, the area off your porch, when you look out the lake in the summer, that's all water. So the stuff that's mucky and smelly now on a warm 40, 50 degree January day would be covered, it wouldn't be exposed mud, it would be grasses and stuff. Or maybe even a woody bank over a generation.
Blurred back.
Usually version cedar growth
This
and
is-
all sorts of things.
This is the,
This
is under 495, so there's there are two outlets where the water comes through, or is it just, it looks like.
It's just split.
Yeah,
So
okay. So the dam is on that side, that's the
Yeah.
Mill Pond, and this is the Parley lumber
I
side.
picture it
So
being,
you're right.
well,
Yeah.
there are,
Yeah, what do you do? Send a
if
ton
you
of water
go-
through that?
Dams on the other side. is it
the
part of
base of
the
one
thing?
is on the dam.
I was looking.
And most of the houses are around that.
Not physically connected.
If you go to
Dirt,
Basin,
it looks like to me.
as you're looking upstream, on the right are Mill Pond Apartments.
Enough.
That's Basin Zero.
Reading that.
That's not gonna change much at all.
I would say
The water trickles over
I
a
can see
sandbar.
why you couldn't remove
And
that.
so if you remove the dam, that's.
Anyway, I
gonna
think
be
your
a
idea is a
pond.
better one.
This
And
is,
then the same thing is repeated upstream a couple different places.
this is 495 where the water comes out onto the Parley side.
And I'd say that picture was taken from the dam, because you can
No,
access.
this was taken from the Parley side.
Oh, was it?
If
Yeah,
you look
yeah,
up
yeah,
that little there's sunlight back there, there's the dam right there.
Okay, but it looks the same way if you go to the other side of the dam, and it's about the same distance if
Oh.
we're standing there from the.
Oh.
Why can't they just, when they bring it all down, they just put dirt back around those pillars and we'll be all set?
Well, but. in
Anyway,
order to
they'll
get-
figure that out.
We don't want to do the engineering ourselves, but the point is, we have somebody who's willing to do the study for us, and we just need to focus the study.
Yeah, great.
So how do we move forward here? Do we vote and say, Jerry, go ahead and do that?
That to a large extent, Michael Grega is gonna be, if he's the point man
Yep.
at the water department on this, he'll be in touch with them. If they are not already aware that,
That's my concern, is that
we had the study.
Mike, we have more information than Mike has, so, I don't think we need to vote on it. You guys would just have to agree that we need somebody to work with Mike to funnel all of our knowledge on the lakes to this new guy at the water department. Clearly, it's Mike's job, so, I can't get ahead of him, but I can work with him and make sure that he's aware of what's gone on through the Corps of Engineers study and our feelings on this subject.
well,
Do we need somebody working with Jerry that has been through that whole 20-year process that might have some additional knowledge of what was involved there that maybe isn't in the report, or that
yeah.
Well, that sounds like me, but it doesn't have to be me, it just has to be someone who can read, and
It's tougher to get someone to come with you.
Yeah.
You're better off just taking the lead.
Well, that's what I feel. I mean, we are part of the Mill Pond Lake thing, whatever we call ourselves. So, we'll go ahead and do it, but you're working all day long.
Okay.
But I mean, it could be as simple as you know, when you are, you know, working through things, emails with Michael and that kind of thing, copy, whether it's Mitt or John, you
Yeah,
know,
okay.
that's been, involved for the last 25
Yeah,
years.
I think it's usually good practice for all of us. If you're doing something on, through your role in the CLC,
On behalf, yeah.
you'd copy the chairman or you'd copy, our
Yeah, great point.
or something.
Am I gonna copy you or am I gonna copy everybody? I don't wanna flood people with
No,
emails.
you can copy me and that's fine.
Okay.
And then you just report back at the next meeting.
And then we get updates and, you know.
And you can
that's what I
invite
think,
me,
but,
I'd be happy to go
I'll
along
let you to everything.
every step.
But yeah, if you would like to start out by say, just writing Michael with a couple of bullet points to say, these are our concerns.
Okay.
And that would be a good place to start. I mean, if it's FaceTime that you need, I mean, if it's face to face,
Well, I'll write it first,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
we'll set up a meeting, but if I write it to him, then I'll copy you guys on it so that you know exactly what I'm
Sure.
doing.
that would be helpful. And it's just, it's support, you know. Then we're aware, you're aware, everybody's, you know, communicating back and forth and that's great. So thank you for your interest.
Well, sorry it didn't last 5 minutes, but
Hey,
it's,
Well, we keep asking all these questions.
yeah.
So the grotesque dead fish that I found right next to the dam the day that I was
Oh, we're gonna
there.
pass this around.
Yeah.
Come on, share.
so we should have a field trip.
Oh,
I have no idea, like, it looks like a monster and I
it
was
looks like catfish to me, but I don't know, it's all
Right?
baked
It
and
does.
weird.
it's missing half its butt.
The degraded catfish.
And it was like right at the mouth of the dam. We were just
There
wandering
you
around
go, that is.
Mill Hill and
Okay.
exploring all that stuff, yeah.
That doesn't look good.
So,
So if you wanna do a field trip, what you do is you put on a pair of waders, and you can walk under 495 under there, and it's
That would
really
be a
creepy.
treat.
Well,
There
that,
are-
what do you call
Oh, I would
that?
do that.
Low enough, we
how
walk.
shallow is
It's
it?
about,
Shallow enough?
hip deep.
Is it? Yeah.
So if you get a pair of waders, you
Knee
can
deep for
walk
me.
up, and it's really creepy. And then you come out where the dam is, and you can walk around outside the dam. The only thing that I'm
It's a
little,
continuous tunnel underneath both?
yeah, it's just has a support in the middle, so but there's some big snapping turtles in there
Excellent.
that pop their head up as you're going through. And there's some trash that has come through in the middle. There's a drain pipe in the middle in the median 495.
Sure.
And there's no grate on it, so like rocks and stuff come down, so you have to kind of climb over that to get.
No way. Oh, there's a big pile of rocks right in the middle of it.
Yeah, in the middle, it looks really weird, it looks like something prehistoric. And also, when you read, the dam is inspected, I think it's every 10 years, and you can go back and find those reports. And they said there is some leakage under that dam where it's bubbling up underneath the dam, which isn't good if that happens a lot. But I go there by myself, and I've always been concerned that if I walk actually under the dam, I might fall into the sinkhole where the water's coming out.
Yeah,
We found it here.
water coming, there'll be a pad.
Yeah, so I haven't explored that. If a couple of you guys wanna come with me, I'll put a rope on myself and we'll walk it.
I'll go check it out with you.
Okay.
I don't have waders, but,
When he went under for the third time, that was really exciting.
and then we lost
We
them.
got it on video though.
So Jerry, where do you live in coordinates to the Mill Pond that you're concerned about? That's what I was just wondering.
You mean, why am I concerned about Mill Pond?
Yeah, well, I mean,
He's at a higher elevation.
you're over there in Upland, right?
Right, so I am interested in Mill Pond, one, because I drive by and I say, somebody's gotta do something about this.
Okay.
And the other is, I believe we have to protect that area that is a cold water fishery right below the dam. And it's on the edge of trout not being able to live through the summer there. And the guy from the state said they would stock it more heavily if we could provide public access to that area. And when Parley was there, you know, unless you were buying wood, he didn't want you around. But now that it's owned by the water department, or the electric department,
You could walk the whole edge, right?
you could. They don't want us anywhere near that. That's the water department's and the commission's position on it. But my next step is to go to the select board, because they have some sway in the matter, because as I said, they're not Eversource, they're Littleton Power and Light. They do a lot of good things for the town, a lot of grants to the town. And I think they could probably be convinced that providing public access through that area would be great. And Mill Hill actually covers both sides of the stream, not only on where the turn is when you get on, but in the back, and I'm also on the bicycle and pedestrian committee, and we're interested in it because you could actually connect and go all the way to not Taylor Street. What's the other street over there? There's an H.
Howard,
Harwood. You can go from Mill Street all the way there. There used to be a dam across Mill Pond, right, where Parley was. There used to be not a dam. Well, there was a dam there, but there used to be a bridge there, and some of the abutments are still there. We could go across that and we get all the way over to Harwood, because the Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee is interested in finding different ways for people to get to the train station. So you could actually cut right across, go to Harwood, and go up to the train station if you could ride through there.
Nice.
But you know, you take these things one step at a time, and this first step will be mainly focused on the fishery, but it could also, the path could also be used by anybody who wants to either commute or hike and go over to Harwood. So that's on my docket for.
Oh, it's nice. It's nice to see things happening in the Mill Pond area.
That's great.
They're positive.
Okay.
This could be great. There could be a great deal of opposition to lowering the level as things stand, but you know, cross that when the time comes.
Yeah.
So,
Doesn't it already smell there anyways?
in the
I
summer,
don't think so. It hasn't for like 10 or 15 years.
Oh.
It's so funny. When I moved there,
it's gone through that
it
phase
was
now.
horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, maybe there would be some like, I mean, not to get into engineering.
Actually,
You could like slowly draw it down and then,
Yeah.
lower the level over time. Anyway, all right, what's next? That was Mill Pond.
Yeah.
We haven't had that on the agenda for years.
And, no, I think, no, it's very good. I just wanted to spend some time on that. At this stage, Januaries aren't like especially hectic for us, but, to look forward to potential new projects and things that need to be done, that we haven't considered, it's a great time to talk about that sort of thing. So that's dynamite. Nothing to report from Long Lake at this point, except that there were still a couple of crazy fishermen out there. Why? And there's one fish. They catch it, they throw it back in.
It's icy, I mean, it's iced up, so for ice
There's
fishermen,
big
yeah.
space out there today.
Oh, there was?
45 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
But I understand the ice is thick enough.
What's going on with the frog pond? I was walking there yesterday and it's, you know, still, it's worse than ever.
Well, everybody's talking loud and proud about having that dredged out this fall, but
Yeah, what's going on?
imagined it wasn't going to happen. Not to burst Rob's bubble, but no, these things happen over time. Sure.
It's not gonna happen.
Maybe spring.
Yeah, okay,
Maybe,
okay, so
yeah.
it's still on the docket, but
Oh.
there's no, yeah.
It's all being cleared. I have not been in touch with anybody at the highway department, but I think there's no reason that they would suspend it. It's been in the works for a long time. It was one of the reasons I initially objected to the CPC granting funding for redoing the path and pulling out all the invasives. No sense in applying for that money until it's time to do the project. So
Right,
we'll see.
okay.
It takes time. It just
Well, we've been talking about it for at least 5
a
years.
decade.
So.
Was there another conservation meeting about the strip of land along?
Yes, there was, as a matter of fact. But Dustin Neild had a proposal. He got together with all the
This is
people.
Lake resident?
Next door neighbor of mine, resident of on Lakeshore Drive,
And he has a dock and
and
he
he has a
used
dock,
it very,
and he got together with everybody else who had docks to kind of take their pulse. Conscom is still quite adamant that they see maybe 3 or 4 points of access, but it's a lake neighborhood. If they're not even going to provide any access, but if they're talking about telling certain landowners there that they had to remove their dock, well, that gets a little dicey too. So that was discussed a little bit, but I think before the end of January there'll be at least one more meeting on it, another public meeting. But
And the residents proposed,
the
they had a
resident,
proposal that there'd be
Dustin-
some docks allowed.
Dustin said we should have, I think, 6 or 7 docks.
like
and-
community docks.
And well, they would be public docks, but they're privately owned. And so, Conscom has got to go through, town council to see exactly what the implications are there, but they've always been more or less neighborhood docks.
Right.
The people that put in docks that were forward enough to say, let's do it, have always been the kindest people. To me, I mean, they chase away kids who are, just fishing and, jumping from one dock to the other and causing trouble, but, it's a neighborhood thing. It's you go, if you don't have your own personal dock, as most of us do not, you take your kayak to wherever you can launch, and everybody's usually pretty good about it. They say, be careful. They don't want any liability or anything, but,
No liability, they don't own the land.
they don't.
Right,
so
right.
it's,
What would be really nice is if, like, I don't live on the lake, it would be really nice if there's a place I could leave a boat.
Oh, well, that was what
Yeah.
brought all of this to
Yeah,
a
yeah.
head.
Right.
Because there are an awful lot of people who say, of course, this has been sort of a laissez-faire sort of thing. Conscom hasn't said anything about it for 40 years, the years I've been there.
Right.
And so, it has been up to the people that live nearby to say, let's put in a dock, or let's get together with some other people, and all of those things have come and gone. Kids have done it, it's,
Right. Right.
To varying degrees, some docks are an eyesore, or some docks are an asset. And with any shoreline, if there's a community there, you need access, and there ought to be, I don't know, probably 6 or 7, maybe 10 different points where you can just easily get
Right.
down to the water, whether it's on a dock or whether it's just shoreline or what have you.
So Justin's proposal was there should be 6 or 7 communal docks that private landowners, like Dustin would maintain it and be say, you guys can,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Well, actually,
again,
there are like, what, 4 proposals that Dustin put out there. And I guess I gotta say, if you watch the Conservation Commission meetings, the last 3 or 4 of them, Dustin's been on there, and it's been very encouraging to me the way Conscom and the folks Dustin's heading up the thing have been working together on what the issues would be and trying to reach a solution. But there are 4 different proposals, and we're going to your point about you'd like to put a boat down there. One of them is that if you keep the docks, that one side of the dock would be for anybody who wants to put a boat there, and the other side would be for the people who, the person who's maintaining that dock.
Mhm.
So that's just one of the 4 options. But if you want to get the details, you can spend a lot of time watching this.
Yeah.
And Conscom is putting a lot of time in it, and so is Dustin and the folks who.
Yeah.
But it's super refreshing how people are working out to a
Working
solution.
together, sure.
It doesn't just come in and say, this is what we want to do, give it a couple of options, because Conscom, they want to preserve the town property and they don't want people walking over. So everybody's, looks like coming to a solution that's going to be edible.
What are they, thank you for giving the craft course, because I have not spent the time to go to those.
Oh,
There are like a couple of like little driveways people have set up, things like that. Is
Oh, but
Conscom
they-
gonna allow
they-
those to remain?
Conscom is very upset that people store, watercraft on the parkland.
Yeah,
And
You mean on the strip, not in the water?
not in the water, on land.
Yeah.
There are people with, there are abandoned boats. There are
Oh, yeah.
abandoned kayaks. I mean, people, I have never seen anybody touch
yeah.
boats that are just
So
sitting there on their
you
salt
leave your
or
boat
something.
in the water?
Oh.
Or,
No, they
Well,
would,
again, this is,
yeah.
it's-
Probably wouldn't do that, but I know some people be like, wouldn't it be great if I could leave my canoe down there, lock it up, and then I could come, I live at the other end of Goldsmith Street.
I've had people chain, canoe to the oak tree across the street from me.
Mhm.
And you go, well, there's no access there. It's really no way to get into the water.
Right,
And so they didn't keep the boat there that long.
yeah, anyways, we could go on that. Anyway,
It is a difficult, area to tackle because the neighborhood is a lake neighborhood and you want access, and there are people with boats in the water, and whether you're at a mooring or you're at your own dock, there's play equipment, and Conscom is not favorable to seeing playground equipment or
I mean, the floating
the
raft.
jumpy rafts and all that kind of stuff. And well, look, I mean, people live here and they've got kids and, you know, I can't say that's a problem.
Yeah.
The guy next door that used to rent and, in Dustin's house and he used to moor a sailboat right out in the little, cove there at the foot of Emerson. And, it's like kind of funny, kind of okay.
Yeah.
He'd take a little dinghy out and putter around and why not? Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
the back's the lake for him. So,
Yeah.
I think there is, we're coming to a point where everybody recognizes there's an interesting overlay. It's conservation land and it's neighborhood park. And there's
And it's right across the
lots,
street from a private home.
there's lots of different ways of developing parkland. I know that Conscom is upset with the amount of grass that grows there. And they're assuming that there's all sorts of fertilizers and things, but I know these people, there's never been any fertilizer. Nobody's actively trying to destroy the shoreline, or create an erosion problem or any of those sort of things that everybody's like, shame on you, shame. No, these people love the lake. Dustin personally, loves the birds on the lake and has erected, birdhouses all around the perimeter and is photographed, and shares his photographs. And, you know, these people are nature oriented. We don't have any big power boats because they're not allowed. But small craft, and some smaller power boats are great. Pontoon boat, you know, they're nice. But, and on top of that, I've been able to borrow people's boats. They go to all the risk and
Yeah.
I scoot in there and say, I gotta do a little water quality test. How about we just lend me that boat? And they
Best
do.
thing in the summer, you go out for a swim and Dustin's out on his dock and he offers you a cocktail and you
Absolutely.
like hang out for a while and you swim back to shore.
That is the nice kind of shoreline
Is it
camaraderie
floating
that,
Yeah, they have this like floating, he built he's calling it Raft Scallion now, so it's because his buddy the guy who owns Raft Scallion lives on the street too, yeah. So it's Raft Scallion, and it's a floating dock that has a little tiny engine on it.
it's got an egg eater on it.
Oh, I see. So he starts on the shore and makes its way out.
Oh, no, it's in the water all the time.
But I mean, it
Yeah, they can move around.
could travel from the
But,
dock
yeah.
out to.
Anyway, sorry, we digress.
No,
That's like lake
it's a
living.
funny topic, but, you know, the initial move, from Conscom was to see that entire strip of land sort of, well, rewilded, as they like to say. And, I think that's really missing the whole point, to a large
Yeah.
extent. That would be pretending that there wasn't a community there. And,
Mhm.
you know, that shoreline came about as a part of that original development, which were summer homes. And, there were boathouses on the water's edge and there were, you know, there's all sorts of access for everybody all the time. They had their own private beach long before the town beach. And, so,
Yeah.
it's been a long progression. But yeah, those meetings continue and, be curious to see how things turn out. So it's great. I think that covers things. Leon, anything from Spec Pond?
Nope, I'm good to go.
Happy to hear that, man. Happy to hear that. Hey, next on the agenda,
Well,
we can move
we
on.
have some porch pond things.
You have more?
Well, that was budget. That was not,
No, we talk budget. I don't want to steal your thunder.
no, I just, our drawdown's still underway. It's quite good this year. We're about half a foot away from our target, which is better than the last few years. And it's been quite cold, so that's helpful. So we'll see what happens. We went back to the Conservation Commission about our herbicide treatments for next summer because our orders and conditions say that we have to come back each year and get approved to do another treatment or to do a treatment in the coming year based on what was done in the past. And even though we didn't do one last year, we felt like we should come back just to make sure we're covered. And they said, yeah, you can do it. But they asked more questions and now they want a, preliminary plan for what the treatment would be, before we get to the point. We told them that, we won't know what the plan will be until we do the, plan survey, which would be just before we'd be doing the treatment. And they didn't like that, short time frame, so they asked us to come in with, an expected preliminary plan sometime this spring. So, I expect we'll, look at what, we had last year from the plan survey last year and, come up with a proposal based on that. And, so that's, anyway, they approved us to be able to do it this year. One of the things I asked, Mark about was the herbicide, bidding. And he said that, they're planning to do the bidding in February. He did bring, our suggestions from last month to them, along with the Westford's, protocol for bidding and, some of the, suggestions we had. And he said he would try to see if, they would share the draft of the bidding document before it gets bid. And, to see if we had any feedback on that. One thing we were wondering, Long Lake was wondering whether, some, dredging of the area around the beach could be included in the major dredging, permit. We were thinking it might be useful to see whether, additional dredging of the Forge Pond outlet channel could possibly be included in the major dredging, permit for Forge Pond. One of the things that we're looking at in the H&H study for the drawdown improvements, we're looking at some changes to the actual structures, downstream of the dam where the, water flows from the, outlet channel down into Stony Brook, which is downstream of the dam. We're also looking at, what kind of difference would it make if we were to take another foot or so, lower in, the outlet channel. We dredged it, a few years ago. It, helped. It's something that, is, it's not like concrete, so it does shift. But if we decided, if it looked like that would be a useful thing to do, obviously we'd need to get permitting for it. And last time we were constrained by 100 cubic yards. And since we're doing the major dredging permit anyway, it would probably be useful to see if that could be included in that.
Well, realistically, you did pull 100 cubic yards, but then you shifted 100 cubic yards.
So as the water flowed, things move.
I'm just saying, just say it,
But it may take more than that.
no, but I'm just saying, we don't even have to take anything out.
Well,
Move it.
the,
We didn't dredge nothing.
No, I'm just saying, realistically.
so if it can be removed, then that becomes a wider.
Yeah. But now I've never been there with the bottom when we lift up. Is that dry right now? When we lift up?
You mean at the bottom of the gates?
Yeah, the gate,
No, it's 6 feet under.
the gate's 6 feet under.
They're deeper than anything else.
Are you
You and I.
talking about the sluice gates?
Yeah, the thing we lifted up,
Yeah, those gates, they're huge. They go way down,
they go way down.
much deeper than the bottom, 3 feet.
Also, so there has to be water flowing through there because what's coming in from Beaver Brook and Gilson, it's not going over the dam crest is too
I
high.
understand that.
So this is where it goes out. It goes out through the sluice gates and then through this auxiliary, outlet channel.
The gates, I
I've
think,
never seen the bottom, that's why.
well, I think, none of us has.
Oh.
The gates are above the water, right?
The
now.
gates go up.
Yeah, so they're up high enough that you can see the bottom of the gate, but the bottom of the opening, is, the water's just deep there. So we'd have to put on high waders and
Yeah, so
even high waders might not be high enough.
What are you describing as the outlet? Is that at the Blood or the Gilson Road end, or is that at the dam side?
it's at the dam,
Wood Village.
or Abbott Mill Dam,
Oh, okay, that's what you're calling the
Yeah,
outlet. Okay.
yeah.
So you really had a sandbar a few years ago.
The sandbar is still there.
Yeah.
If we had taken the sandbar out when we did the dredging, that we wouldn't have been able to do anything but the sandbar. That was 100 cubic yards of itself.
All by itself, yeah.
So are they receptive to the idea?
Who?
You said you'd like to
We're
have
going to inquire.
the permit.
Well, this is what I'm asking. I'm asking, could we
Yeah, I
check with
think,
TRC and see whether
I think well, it's, yeah.
it seems like,
This goes back a couple of years when Tim was still our liaison, and I was asking if, the outfalls that surround Long Lake could be dredged as a result of having this minor dredging permit. And he said, no, that would be a whole other thing. I said, what about the sand in the swim box area? You know, if it was on the shore, might be something, but, and I don't know what.
well, I don't know that. I mean,
Maybe it's a major dredging permit. we need.
so TRC has expertise in this, and I would say we should
Right.
ask them.
I think we should.
Yeah. The other thing, related to, this also relates to Mill Pond, but, the Conservation Law Foundation's lawsuit against Patriot Beverage, resulted in a consent decree, at the end of last year. And, so, there was no, guilt admitted, but there is an agreement as to what would happen. And so there's a 5-year plan where Patriot Beverage will make improvements in their process. And they these are improvements to prevent excess phosphorus, excess total suspended solids, excess pH, excess biochemical oxygen demand, excess temperature, excess aluminum, oil and grease, foam and floating solids, discoloration and odors in their wastewater and stormwater discharges. And there is they're funding a $500,000 monitoring project that's being managed by OARS. OARS, the organization for Asset River and Sudbury River and the Concord River, and the waters of Mill Pond, Beaver Brook, Forge Pond, Neshoba Brook, and Aspet River will have a program of water quality and nutrient monitoring. So it's a 5-year process where they are going to be making changes and improve. They have to make some changes they have to make in 90 days, some they have to make in the first year. And then they're going to be monitored for, I think they're monitored for the whole 5 years. I reached out to the people at OARS that are going to be responsible for this. And just so happened I went to an OARS water quality presentation last weekend where she was, one of the parts of the presentation was describing this program. We talked, and I reached out some more this week to let her know that, Clean Lakes Committee, Westford Health Lakes and Ponds Collaborative, Friends of Forge Pond, all part of this watershed for Beaver Brook. and, you know, what's the name of the brook that comes by there? I forget.
Lake Brook?
Huh? No, the one that goes by the,
Like Daisy Path Meadow, Reedy Meadow.
Reedy Meadows, yeah, Reedy Meadows. And to let them know that, we would be, glad to help with sampling and, any kind of, assistance that they could, you know, use in doing these, so especially, you know, monitoring. And we have, historic monitoring data that I don't know whether it would be useful to them or not. But if it is, we can, you know, accumulate it and let them, you know, make it available. And I explained how we're starting these lake preservation plans, which would be looking at the watersheds, which is, you know, something that they're of course interested in too. Anyway, she was interested in
settlement that you're.
yeah, there's a 19-page consent decree. I can send a link to it,
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
to the,
Yeah, I'd like to see
Yeah.
that. I couldn't.
Yeah. And she was interested in, you know, setting up some kind of Zoom call this spring with anybody, you know, in the committees that are interested, to start getting, collaborating and seeing what they could, how we could help them, and if they have questions that of things that we might know, or, you know, get things like that. So anyway, that's a very positive development, right?
Sounds
It's
to me like-
interesting that it went right to oars and that the town wasn't involved, given that it's like,
Well,
it's odd. I don't know.
regional impact, I think, that
Yeah, I know.
there.
I just,
looking at things, but.
Yeah, I mean, so Oars has a very extensive water sampling program.
Yeah.
With dozens and dozens and dozens of volunteers that work on it. And it was Oars, and also the Neshoba Praying Indians group, who is centered on land that over by the Neshoba orchard, you know, on the shore of.
Sarah Doublet.
Yeah, over there, yeah. And they will also be managing volunteers for sampling and doing helping with the project design and communication and that kind of thing. So I'm not sure how I mean, there'll be collaboration all the way around. So anyway, I'll send the group here the links to the both the Conservation Law Foundation's public, you know, PR notice about it, and the consent decree. The last 2 pages of the consent decree describe the monitoring project.
Oh.
So, yeah,
I mean, doesn't Stony Brook feed into, it dumps into the Merrimack?
yeah.
It's curious to me that that's part of Oars.
I mean, when you look at.
Because if Oars is Concord, Assabet, Sudbury, it's, I don't. That's why I was.
I agree, I need to look at that more closely, because when you look at their watersheds, part of their, you know, they got 3 watersheds for each of the 3 rivers. And, you know, one of them comes up and includes all of, you know, Beaver Brook and Forge Pond and up to the north and a bit to the east. And I'm not sure how those fit together. So I need to look at that too.
Yeah, curious.
And it may, I don't know, anyway. So that was what I had for
That's giant.
Forge Pond.
Super.
Yeah.
Strikes me, it would have been a whole lot easier for Patriot Beverages to just apply for the permits they were requested to have.
Well, they had the permits, they just weren't.
They weren't complying.
They weren't complying. Right. And, you know, it'll be very interesting. I mean, they So, Apple
Very fun.
Verifying, right? Converted or sold over to Patriot Beverage at some point. I'm not sure how long ago, but it was 3 years ago where we found a really significant change in the plant growth in Forge Pond. And I'd be interested in knowing how that coincides or how it matches up, if at all, with the changes at the beverage
Well,
plant.
the initial one in the middle was Kraft, so it was Very Fine, Kraft, and then Patriot Beverage. So they made that orange drink
Fruit
there.
2.0.
Was it?
Fruit 2.0 was
Yeah,
Very Fine's last gasp.
And so there was somebody in between those two.
It would be really interesting to know if the effluent from any of those places corresponded to the absolute flourishing of invasive weeds.
Yeah.
But that also corresponded with 2 winters of no freeze, almost no freeze. So, the water stayed high.
It's
Um,
for this and so.
So that,
The confluence of all of that.
that might have been a big
Beaver Pro.
contributor as well.
Yeah.
So,
And they
But then,
replaced the culverts with a bridge where Beaverbrook comes in.
That was kind of late in the game, but
Because-
it
That was about the time when we,
was under construction.
Yeah.
yeah, it was, and
No,
that
and
could have
lower,
released a whole bunch of stuff into the,
like,
Oh, yeah, the nutrient loading
Right.
alone.
this is where the Stony Brook goes
I mean,
into the
one of
Merrimack
it would be
River.
a good
and
change.
kayaks
because whatever the flow is, it is what it
There.
is. Changing a bridge or a dam doesn't
are
change the
here.
flow.
And,
That depends on rainfall and the
Mhm.
watershed.
because I think this, I don't know.
So the flow is the flow, and it was the same water either way. But when they dug that all around and rearranged everything there, that potentially reduced a lot of stuff.
It's weird in there. Westford
That
gets
part
weird.
of
It's all
Beaver
water.
Brook into Forge Pond.
well, we had dozens of those floating islands that were,
Yeah.
came in the lake as a result of that.
Mhm.
And they were there for a couple seasons and now they aren't.
Stabilized a little bit
And they
better.
weren't before and now they aren't either.
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's, no, that's good. That's right. Awesome.
Consider-
Next on our list is CLC officers. From time to time, every 26 years or so. This comes up. More often with secretaries, recording secretaries and so on. I do not mean to monopolize the role of chairman here, and I would not object if someone wanted to, succeed me.
You have to do better than that. You have to say, I quit.
Well, you have to be here 26 years ago, 27 years ago, when everyone else took a giant step back, and I was like, the deer in the headlights, But I think it's fair to think about officers sort of rotating on a little bit more regular basis, and not saying that has to happen today, but thinking about that new generation, new enthusiastic generation coming up, and how they may take things in a different direction than I have of late.
Where's the new and enthusiastic generation?
People sort of looking at you.
I still have a full-time job.
I know. Well, I
That's in
did.
high school.
I did for the bulk of this. I've been a free man now for 3 years, but just saying. I don't know what we want to do in terms of elections or whatever.
How many officers do we have?
Well, we have chairman. Leon, you are still vice chairman,
Yes.
and then the recording secretary. Just the 3 of us.
So can I make a motion?
You can.
I move that we keep the administration of the Clean Lake Committee.
I second the motion.
Into perpetuity.
No, but at least this year, I love the job.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I don't want to step on anybody who wants it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, we hear you.
Well, and I think Leon and Dave, if you wanted to, equally, if you want to change, someone could step in. You take such good notes.
Yeah.
You do. You great documentarian. No, on that.
Did we vote?
Into the
No,
very back.
no, I don't know if we had to call a vote, but,
There was a movement and a second.
yeah, it's just pretty much, oh, was there a second?
I seconded.
Oh my God, Jerry.
Well, I'm not actually a valid member, I'm the alternate, Chucky's here, so I'm.
Well, that means you can't vote. That doesn't mean you can't.
Put a motion on it.
You're more than welcome to put a motion on
For
that.
the same reason, I guess I can second it.
John, I think certainly from a succession planning, like
Yeah.
we should be thinking in terms of that, because there's so much that's in your head. There's a lot of like, and
Oh, I'd be happy to.
I
help.
appreciate the last year you've had to like learn a lot of this budgeting stuff, and it is a year of transition. So
2025 was a sucker punch. but
I'm not sure that this would be the year to do that, but we should,
Exactly.
yeah,
I would like to mold someone
yeah.
to,
Is there,
take this.
like, I heard about it because, I'm the, president of the association, so I came here to do this X amount of years ago. But is there a way that you can solicit people, they don't have to be on the association, in Mattawanaki, they could just be anybody. Is there or anybody on the lake type of thing? I'm just saying to get more younger, is there a way to recruit?
So the
Right now, we have.
Clean Lake Committee charter says that the four lake associations have nominate representatives
Hmm.
for
And an alternate.
and an alternate. So 8 positions on the committee
Okay.
are from those, and then there are 3 at-large members.
Okay.
But of course, the associations could request anybody in those associations to be.
And on top of that, the town of Littleton, in its, was it weekly, the newsletter?
Monthly.
Monthly. Anyway, in that newsletter, I read that the town of Littleton is really encouraging people. We got a lot of open positions, everybody. Get on the committees, go out, volunteer.
Yeah.
So, we could ask somebody,
People don't wanna do it.
I don't know
well,
about that, but
people are busy.
No, that's what I'm saying. People don't, they're like, they got their lives and
Yeah.
everything will work out right.
Well, actually, I think it's a tribute to our organization that we haven't done anything so bad that people feel like they have to come and be a member of our group. Maybe the Mill Pond Dam all of a sudden will.
Yeah, then you're gonna get a lot of.
These people on the CLC.
I
like that.
You get a lot of calls now.
Yeah, they're-
Air out the laundry.
Jerry's inspiring me. I think that it shows how youthful we are, that committees need youthful people, and look at us.
Don't
We
look
are on
around.
this committee.
What's the youngest guy, me, 62?
1957, I heard.
No, I'm
I'm
60.
younger than you.
Oh, okay. You're the youngest.
I'm not 60
No,
yet.
Our next chair.
Emily this year, 39.
60, I forget.
Gary's right into this position. She'll last
That's
the
right.
longest.
Yeah.
Oh dear. If I still live in Littleton, but it's gonna be a crazy town in 10 years.
Oh. Well, when they put in all the new developments.
Yeah, like who wants to live here?
Well, the tax base will go up and you'll have great,
Great what? Great what, dump?
But we'll never leave the house because the traffic will be so bad.
What's funny is we live in Mattawanaki. I go the back way to go to Westford. I go the back way to go that
Oh,
way.
yeah, 225.
Yeah, you gotta avoid all that
I
stuff.
gotta avoid town.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gonna get worse.
So,
Two cities back there.
did you call for a vote?
I don't,
Well, I seconded it, so we gotta keep our administration, we need to
what do
vote.
we wanna just make a motion to, put this on the plate, table it and see what goes on, we should start thinking about it.
Sure, yeah.
Well, I don't think we need a motion for that.
No, I mean,
We have a motion in front of us.
Okay,
And
We're discussing the motion.
Chuck is providing discussion for the motion.
that's
I'd
okay.
like to add to the discussion. I
Yeah.
agree with what Cammie said, that John is being very generous and forward thinking. But tonight is not the night to get a replacement. It should be a process. So I think to close this out, I would, if we had a vote, I would vote in favor of the current slate.
But I think that's probably what Steve had in mind for
I
now.
think that's what he's
Keep
saying.
things the same,
Yes.
and we continue the discussion about, I'll go home and binge watch Succession, and just what we can learn about the right way to do these things.
So now we have to vote on it.
Yeah.
So let's,
I guess we could.
so typically the chairman would say, all in favor, say.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Leon?
That's it.
Aye.
Okay,
All
good,
right.
thank you.
All right.
Steady on,
Yeah.
bro. Thank you for your vote of confidence.
Yes, well, thank you
Figured
for your,
January, I had to bring something up.
thank you for your service.
You know what, I asked
Thank
that
you, John.
every, we have elections, it's an election thing in us, it's, in the fall, in September, there's elections for our association. Every year I says, does anybody wanna take it?
It's a hot potato roll. Littleton, Long Lake neighborhood, I think Tess is gonna step down as president and I don't wanna step into that role.
No.
How about Dustin?
It takes a.
I think he's like,
He's the head of the, conservation.
trail, yeah, conservation trust.
Perfect.
You've got a full-time job during.
That's it.
I noticed Dustin isn't putting get out there and skate as much as he's done it in past years.
No, he hasn't done.
And you know what, so, this is the record, I so don't want him to do that because he's putting himself into a spot where he's telling people it's okay to get out there.
No, he puts a lot of caveats though.
I know, but still, all right, now they, there's a bunch of spots that it can. Freeze well, I watched them the whole time. But I don't wanna say, get out there, go for it, everybody. Because, all right, I got a video right here. Guy was motorcycling across the lake, boom, in the lake.
No kidding.
In Forge Pond,
Yep, right across the lake from me.
When was that?
dumbass.
There's a lesson there. I'm not sure what it is, but.
So is the motorcycle still in the lake?
Or something, the guy on a motorcycle, nah.
I'll stick with my
Okay.
ice skates.
Please tell us when that happened.
Is there like gas leaking in the lake? Like, what the heck?
Was it this year?
That is not clean lake. That's not clean.
That's the same fellow that was, doing wheelies across the lake.
No, one of them was doing the wheelies, the other one was.
Oh.
All right, here you go, here's the video.
Did he win a Darwin Award or something?
Yes, about to, he's a nominee.
Well, we're showing a picture.
That's it.
Oh, this is,
Yeah, oh geez, he's in there.
retrieving.
It looks just like the one.
Oh, he-
Yeah, okay, got it. And what's that on the?
That is where the.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
That's
Let me show you that.
Oh,
But that's it's all rest in the
background.
That's all.
See, this
So it's
is
like-
down under.
It's like where
This
there's
is the
the
part
ice station.
I've been showing to the town.
Yeah,
that's
Here,
like-
those, see those bolts?
Yeah.
That was rusted off,
I don't.
that's where the nut is,
Say.
so it's not being supported, it's rusted off.
Yeah.
So my point,
Yeah, the
is,
ATV with the light
at
on.
least you gotta do is fix the sluice
Yeah.
gate, because
But how do you,
I told the company that made the sluice gate, there's 6 bolts on it.
He's standing.
1/3 of
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Oh,
So,
right off.
Joe, this is rust, that thing will open up.
Poor chum.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
They missed that.
Damn, anyway.
While you're still here, you got
Yeah,
a
that will
second,
take-
we'll
the
call another date
Being
for
very-
next.
Yeah, sometime in summer, when the water's kinda low, we'll have a field trip.
Everybody can help. We set a date for next month.
This is Stony Brook where it comes into the Merrimack.
Aaron, can we set a date for next month?
Oh, yeah,
Real quick before Renee has to go.
that's where Stony Brook goes. So that's like,
Like a mill of some kind.
yeah, it used to be Bainbridges, it's Princeton Station. And there's a bridge, on the Merrimack side and you go under the bridge and you come out, like, it's a long bridge. It's
11:30.
very creepy.
11?
Isn't that cool? So that's where Stony Brook comes out into the Merrimack.
Okay. And where's, is there a dam somewhere or
north
is it just
of
flowing right in?
No, this is like, if
Keep it
you
alive.
look at the
18th is Ash Wednesday.
map, so it's here, so
Okay, it's just flowing right in.
there's Merrimack River, so there's the Stony Brook
Okay.
here, the train goes right
Okay, the
there.
11th.
Okay, you got that from Cammy, Jerry?
Okay.
Wednesday, the 11th, sure,
11th?
sorry.
Sounds good.
We're all sharing
February 11th.
pictures.
Oh,
11. Good.
Is that? That's a week before school vacation.
yes, right.
Good, thank you, everybody.
Absolutely, man, thank you.
Apologize.
Thanks, Ed.
He's gotta go eat. And
And we will call
What was
a close. to
all in
this.
favor?
It's just a little, okay.
Leon,
Yeah,
February 11th is agreeable to you?
Oh, I didn't
that's
put-
good. Yeah, it's good.
You are good too.
Last page.
Thank you. I'd like
There,
to,
the vast-
I'd like to adjourn.
Yeah, I guess something like that.
Everyone in
Thank you for
favor?
bringing the.
Hey, like, yeah.
Aye.
Yay.
The
Great
scribe.
cookies,
scribe on-
Leon. Wish you could be on hand.